Hello, welcome to Eamon on Track. It's me, Eamon, again, and I'm here with my wonderful guest.
What's up?
It's Chris Murphy today. Today we're talking about an album by the Protomen. It's Act 2, The Father of Death.
It's true. It's
Yep.
true. The best album in the world, in my personal opinion.
I
Which is
really
why I
like this
suggested
album.
this album.
Yeah. It's
it's
Mega Man rock opera.
Yes, a Mega Man rock opera indeed. I actually own this on vinyl.
Oh, wow,
As you
that's
can
so
see here.
beautiful. Yeah.
The best part about this vinyl is that it's mad picture inlay. Sorry, I'm gonna try to adjust my camera a little bit here for you. Yeah, so mad picture inlays.
That's cool.
Giving you the whole like other dystopian world, but it also comes with a pop up.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, there are. They also have other vinyls that I got, which is Act
Yeah,
One, and then Queen presents A Night of Queen, which is my introduction to this band. Is how I found them actually.
So this is the album cover. I think this album cover looks really cool. If it would show up. There we go. I just think this album cover looks really cool. So this is supposed to be Light and Emily, I believe, right?
Yes, it is Light and Emily.
Yeah.
It's heavily inspired by a 1984 film. What was it called? It was a rock fable or something to that degree.
Oh, yeah?
Streets of Fire, I believe. Yeah, Streets of Fire,
Cool.
rock fable. It was 1984 American film. The cover's basically the same.
But yeah, I just really like this album. So now, if we go to like the track listing, let's talk about, So first of all, this album is technically a part 2, but it's also a prequel. So it kind of works in its own right. You can you got the beginning little intermission part, and then Murphy, do you have any music clips, or did you?
Do I have? Did you? I didn't know. I didn't bring any music clips. I wasn't sure or aware that was a thing that you needed.
No, that's fine. I didn't tell you, so whatever. But that's my bad. But it's fair. But there's like this in the intermission, which I suspect is supposed to be like between the first and second album.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of just this little guitar piece, And then
Basically, like, I don't know if you like looked into too much of it, but there's like a whole plot summary that kind of like explains each track and how they pertains. There's even like a music video that leads to it.
I did see the plot summary. I read it up. Yeah. So we go in. This doesn't really have much of a meaning, though, I don't think. But then we go into the Good Doctor, which kind of sets up the plot. Kind of where we are right now. It sets up the relationship between Light and Wiley and Emily.
Well, yeah. So sort of like Dr. Thomas Light and the son of a miner. He worked into his grave, which was one of the lyrics to the song. He's trying to provide for his family, his partners, and all that stuff. And Dr. Albert Wiley, he partners with Dr. Albert Wiley to create an army of labor robots to perform dangerous work for humans. However, on the day that the first of the machines are to be activated, Light begins to have sort of second thoughts concerned with the number of workers who will be displaced by his and Wiley's creations. So
obviously, that's a very real concern, right?
Yeah, very valid concern because it's
happening.
We're almost like, quickly and assuredly, it's going to be a thing.
We'll get
Um,
to that's just the entire thing. It just has a bloody and what he wants to do.
your mic got funky.
Oh, I don't know what's up with that. Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good now. Weird.
Okay. Then we'll go on to Father of Death, which is like kind of. It basically describes, from what I understand, I remember it basically describes Wiley asks Emily to come with him or to like join him or in building the robots, but she says no. So he kills her and
Yes.
blames it on Emily.
Yes. So basically, like, Wiley convinced Light that that they have to come. They've come too far to like sort of back out of creating the robots, even though Light's having all these sort of hesitations and stuff to like flip the switch. And as he does that, and they come to life, Light leaves, and Light leaves his and Wiley's workshop. But he's plagued by like doubts towards both the future of the city, and basically Wiley's intentions. And he heads home to meet with his lover Emily, Stanton. And however, like when he arrives there first, he comes along. Wiley arrives there before him and comes along with the robots. And like you said, he offers to take her away, and Emily's like, "Nah, I don't want to do this." So Wiley orders the robot to kill her, and Light arrives at the scene just in time to see the robot sort of slip out the window, leaving behind the knife used to murder, Emily. And at that moment, the police arrive and they open fire on Light as he escapes out the window, assuming him to have murdered the girl.
As through my speakers. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Can you?
No, I can't hear that.
Okay. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get it to play then. But
Well, you gotta add it
because
to stream, hit play.
Hit add to stream, hit play.
Yeah, so hit
that?
play. Yeah, yes.
There we go. So yeah, I like how like the first half of this album has kind of like more of a guitar feel, but then the second half of this album has a bit more of like an 80s synth feel.
Yeah, well, it takes deep heavily from like rock opera influences. When I first discovered this band, it was through a Queen cover that they had done. That was so convincing. I thought this was a live version of a Queen song I hadn't heard, and I thought it was Freddie Mercury, but it wasn't. It was actually, I think it's Panther. I think this is his name. I forget at the moment. Raoul Panther. Oh God, I feel terrible that I'm forgetting this name right now.
I've gotta say that the voice of whoever does the singing voice for Dr. Light is amazing. He does an amazing job. Just this humility he puts into his performance,
So it's so the majority of all the singing is done by like Raoul Panther and Gambler Kirk Douglas. She's the female lead as well, and they just sort of like go back and forth. The whole album itself was produced by like Alan Shacklock, I think it was. Yeah, no, it's just the vocalists are just some of the best. When I say I think like I was listening to a Freddie Mercury when they were doing their Queen covers, I was convinced, and I was like, oh wait, this is the Protomen, and then I dived deeper into their own sort of like their own like discography, and I discovered what they were. And within that same week, I also found out they were performing live here in Toronto, so I got to see them live.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we move on to the Hounds. The Hounds is kind of like basically now people think that Light has murdered this woman, murdered his fiance.
Yeah, because Yeah, Wiley held the press conference implicating that Light, Thomas Light, was the one that actually murdered Emily. So he's riling up the citizens of the city, aka the Hounds.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
assuming he's
it's
a
kind of just
dangerous
this
murderer.
mob song, right? You know?
Yeah, but it's just held with such a like sweet guitar intro. Like,
It really is. Yeah, it should be playing now.
yeah, I can hear it. Seeing
This
this
is such a great
live
album.
is seeing this song live is leaves you speechless because Raul will come out with just like a guitar, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I love
he
the
just
way
sort of
that this album kind of builds.
well, yeah, it's meant to give you that like cinematic feel, which is what I love about this film or this album the most. It makes me feel like I'm in a movie.
Which is the point, right?
Yeah,
Oh, I love those like brass too. The brass in this section.
yeah, it's such a well balanced album, you know,
It really
because
is.
they've got like what 2, 3, 4. Yeah, like generally they have about like 7 to 8 members, you know.
Around that, yeah. But then we go back from this and we go into the State versus Thomas Light. Which I have to go to that.
Yeah, so you know, basically since Wiley is trying to punish Light and all that stuff.
This. Yeah. But it's got this really kind of personal moment from Light, just kind of this monologue, you know?
Yeah, because he barely escapes the death penalty, and he's sort of like a pariah afterwards. So he's trying to he's forced to leave the city by train, and
Even like before that, he's like he basically thinks he's gonna die, so he basically almost like writes like he almost like gives his like last words, you know?
Well, yeah, because it's meant to symbolize a passage of time, right? After this incident, with Light leaving, Wiley's basically free to enact his plans without resistance. And as the years pass, the citizens of the city slowly begin to sort of
You're
depend
kind of
more
getting a
on
little ahead of
Wiley.
yourself here.
Yeah.
But this song is more about just the trial. That's like hence the name of the album, right? Or name the song rather. The State versus Thomas Light. They're trying him here. He gets found not guilty, but people are not happy about it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he gets put on trial, but he barely escapes.
It's like the calm before the storm.
See, I just really like this part here.
They will punish me for what he did to you. But either way, it's all my fault. 'Cause I made the man who laid his hands on you. I would tear him down, but I feel like a dead man. What can a dead man do? I'm even one way or the other.
Great.
It's really
then
like
next,
the
we probably get
serious
to,
core of the whole album.
Oh yeah. But to
You
the
are
album, which is
breaking
Give Us
it.
the Rope.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I think my internet's just being a little funky today.
Are you on Firefox or Chrome right now?
I'm on Brave.
I don't know that browser. I would suggest using Chrome, but that's just my opinion.
Anyway.
Yeah, so yeah, basically the trial of Wiley, where they want to hang him, and he's bloodthirsty, and
Literally
they want to give us the rope.
We want to hang him. A little bit of that.
The crowd chanting and stuff. It's such a it really paints a picture.
Yeah. I look at like almost like addicted. They're basically from almost they're like going out hunting with pitchforks, almost, right?
Yeah, essentially, you know, they want to hunt down Light for what they believe to be the crime of murdering Emily Stanton. This is, I will admit, this audio quality is not doing the album justice by any means. If you're listening to this podcast, I highly suggest listening to this album on your own.
I would too. You know, it's just meant to kind of, you know, give an audio idea, right? But anyways, then we go to How the World Fell Under Darkness, and sorry, did you just?
So yeah, this is the song basically this is a song that like emphasizes the passage of years and how the city is becoming dependent on Wily's like robots and powers.
This is a completely instrumental track, but I actually think it does a really good job of kind of, without any words, it goes from this more acoustic feel to this more electronic feel, showing how Wily is kind of building robots all over the city. You know?
Yeah.
I think that's really well made. The fact that they can say, you know, give this kind of whole demonstration without any words at all. This is a really good song to me.
Yeah, this album from top to bottom is just all killer, no filler.
Yeah, no kidding.
So at this point in the album, it sort of starts to introduce this character named Joe, because it's years past. Yeah.
To go to, breaking out, and then this kind of changes the way the album sounds. In the first half of the album, this album, like I said, it's a bit more acoustic, a little bit more almost soul, but in this half of the album, it's like very 80s, very synth, very electropop.
It makes you want to get on a motorbike and ride a highway with a bunch of neon lights zipping past you. Yeah.
Very much so. We get introduced to Joe, and Joe basically says, this city, there's something wrong with it. I'm breaking out of here. That's kind of the idea of this song. But I mentioned Light's voice earlier, but I really love whoever does the singing voice for Joe. He's just got this power behind it.
Well, it's the same guy. It's the same singer.
Is it? That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Anyways, here's a little bit of that. I love those like female backup singers that come in at this part of the album.
So that's, I think that's just Gambler Kirk Douglas, and they've just like layered her voice.
It was really good regardless.
Like usually when they're doing it, when they do it live.
I like the lyrics of this album too. He's like, whole city wants to scream, no one makes a sound. Like there's just a lot of poetic lines on this album.
Oh, dude. The city makes me think of Toronto a lot. The city makes me think of my father and my parents a lot. The city makes me think of ex-girlfriends often. Like, or this album, I should say, not this city, but yeah.
It feels so, yeah. So good.
Like, the range that Raoul Panther has is phenomenal. Just pure phenomenal.
the fact that he plays two completely different characters and I can't tell the difference, that's impressive.
Yeah,
Like,
no, he's just
he did Joe and Dr. Light, and I couldn't tell that they were the same person. That's just a really good testament to how good of a singer you are.
I'm like 95% that it's just him that's doing those parts, but I'll double check.
Yeah, sure.
Unless it doesn't tell me at all. No.
Is there a liner notes there?
vocals, featured vocals. Turbo Lover and The Gambler. Background vocals, The Gambler, Nightwalker, Valerie Naveri, Jessica French, Nathan Hunter, Murphy Weller, and Peter Madison. Yeah, I think it's literally just Raoul Panther doing the vocals on this one. Because we got synthesizers, Commander B. Hawkins, bass synthesizers and guitar, Murphy Weller. Guitars, Heath, who hath no name. Guitars, Scardo Gleason? Yeah, Scardo Gleason, my bad. Drums, Doug Meesh and Andy Spoor. Classic guitar, Andy Shacklock. Featured vocals. So I'm not sure who Turbo Lover is.
But still, yeah, so it sounds like that. Anyways, yeah, he does a great vocal range. I was really impressed by it. But then we get into the next part of the song, Keep Out, or Keep Quiet. This is basically Wiley has become aware of Joe, so he sends a robot after him. This one has a bit of a dark feeling to it.
Well, it's not that. Wiley sent basically the same robot that killed Emily.
Oh, yeah. I love this album. This song of the songs, they almost similar, but this one's darker than the other two. You know,
The other
there's almost this
two.
looming feeling, which is supposed to like breaking out and light up the night. The next song, I feel like this almost has like,
The song.
a connection. I feel like this one is darker than those two, where it's like there's a looming feeling.
Yeah, this one makes me think of Toronto like all the time.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you're in any like major metropolis city, this song is gonna make you think of that city.
It really is. But I always liked how I really liked how in this album the city is portrayed almost as like representing the people. Yeah. Then we get into what was probably my favorite song on the album. I don't know about you, but I really liked Light Up the Night. I think that this was on the album.
Yes, Light Up the Night is the release of the album. It's the song of the album that like they try and like put forth. They've got a whole music video for. That's almost like a short film.
It pretty much is, yeah.
Yeah.
It actually goes into like the story.
It was
of
used
everything, but
it was used in Video Game High School, the movie, or one of the seasons.
oh, I used to watch that show as a kid. Yeah.
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 Oh, hey, Dave.
Light Up the Night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like this song. This was the best song on the album, and I thought I'd come and tell you guys. I thought
Yep.
it was
Oh,
pretty
you listened to the album, did you? That's dope.
I did listen to it. I did. Most of it. Yes, I did listen to it. So, some of it more than once, but some parts more than others, I'd say.
So Light Up the Night was your favorite?
Light Up the Night was my favorite. Light Up the Night was maybe the only. I would say most of the songs I wasn't super into, except for this one. But
That's interesting. I thought you would be a little bit more into it, but so basically, what's happening in this song is that Joe and Light have planned to plant a bomb at Wiley's tower because they want to blow it up. They think that that's gonna solve everything. There's kind of this.
Yeah, they want to destroy a main transmitter, basically.
there's basically this thought that during the song that like they're gonna succeed and they're gonna do everything correctly, and I kind of love that so much about this song.
Well, I like that they're telling a story here in this album. Like that's a good thing. Like I think I prefer that over just a collection of random songs or whatever. So this definitely is sort of up my alley this way. But I think that this song is my favorite in terms of just like its rhythm and like in just in terms of like, its catchiness. Yeah,
this is pure 80s right here.
Yeah, like I like that a lot. It feels like the most like Mega Man to me too. Because I know this is like Mega Man inspired.
Yeah.
Well, so basically, like
I can see that.
they don't say it in words, right? But basically, the robot that killed Emily is Protomen, right? And it leads to the belief that Joe is Mega Man.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, they start getting to a lot of brother talk after this point in the film, or not film, but the album.
Yeah, the album. Yeah, especially. Yeah, I can definitely see what you're coming from with that. But yeah, and then no, it's just really good. Like there's this kind of thought again for a second that like they're somehow gonna do it, but they don't. And that's to the final instrumental track on the album, "The Fall."
Which is sort of instrumental, but it isn't. It has lyrics, which which honestly is it does actually have lyrics.
I'm pretty sure.
Nope, "The Fall" definitely has lyrics because.
Well, I'll let you guys get back to this. I just wanted to let you guys know about that one song. Really good. My favorite, new favorite.
All right, cool.
Keep going. Yep, keep going.
All right.
Oh, maybe you're right, actually. Maybe I am thinking of the air. No, "The Fall" has lyrics. No, "The Fall" definitely has lyrics. Yeah, so...
Okay.
Joe kicked the motorcycle's engine back to life. Okay, maybe it's not so much lyrics, but storytelling within this. Joe kicked the motorcycle's engine back to life, and he spun the bike and raced toward the city, passing under the cold glow of screen after menacing screen. Reports coming in of an incident in the Outer Rim. Reports of an armed assailant. Reports of a growing threat of public safety. Climb. Joe tore through the streets, a missile aimed at the metal spire, towering above the city. Like the fucking lore in this album is amazing.
It's really good. I you wouldn't think that like a dark dystopian version of Mega Man would work, but it works just so well.
It works on so many levels.
You have "The Fall" here. "The Fall" is basically so Joe kind of he ends up blowing up the tower, but he doesn't escape early enough. However, Wily actually planned for it, and he has a second tower, so he's not harmed by this at all. And you can kind of see that in this album, this kind of dark descent here.
Okay. No, this song does have lyrics. It's "Climb, climb, climb to the top of the world. And as you stand tall, you will see that when you will fall from a height most men will never reach." It's just, you don't notice it because it's a whole chorus singing it.
Right. That's right, yeah.
It comes in about, I think in about 8 measures.
Yeah, that sounds right. Should come in here in a second.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this because this is one of like my favorite lyrics in the whole album. It's very inspiring lyrics to be like, I need to, like, if you're working out and you're just like running up a hill,
Yeah.
like,
But I also
Dave's
think it's really
right.
good for Joe because, you know, it's like he makes it to the top and he's going to die here, but he dies in this moment of glory.
well, he's blown off the building essentially, right? Because the explosive goes off.
Yep.
All right, you should probably kill that before you get copyright strike.
Probably. It's a little
Yeah.
long. But then we get to the final song on the album. And I really like how kind of just dark this song actually attempts to be. Here Comes the Arm. Essentially,
Yeah. Yeah.
sees Joe's death and he sees nothing has changed. So he kind of gives his final words and then almost
Well,
attempts
it's-
suicide. But
Okay, so it's more like, so what happens here is like Joe's blowing off and he falls to the ground, and as he falls to his death, during that moment Light discovers that Wiley actually has a second transmitter, and he sort of falls into Wiley's plot of being labeled like terrorist essentially. Light does get to a point where he's about to commit suicide, and before he commits the final act, he ultimately listens to or reads Emily's final letter that she wrote to him on her last day. But he never read it until this moment, and this song is basically her letter, which is like
and then
so much emotion.
It does. And then it basically inspires him to basically, you know, there's work that still needs to be done. He kind of goes back into the shadows and he prepares for the first album.
Yeah.
But again, just like State versus Thomas Light, I just really like how dark this album can be. And this is a prime example of it.
That death was meant for me.
That death was meant for me.
That death was meant for me.
Yeah, he's just like ridden with grief.
Yeah. It's mainly it's not a cappella, obviously, but like it's not a lot of instruments. It's mainly his voice carrying it, you know.
Yeah.
And it gives this really somber tone.
Yeah. Raoul's got the most insane range. He can just play withered, and then he can play like hopeful energy, and then he can play fucking
Really impressive.
you know, Queen. Like, it's amazing.
This album came out in 2009, and there still hasn't been the third part yet, and it's crazy to me.
Well, yeah, so they've dropped a few albums since Act 2. Mostly like a cover album, which is called the Cover Up EP, which has got some great cover songs, including like one of the best cover songs of like Mr. Roboto and Iron Maiden I've ever heard. They also did the soundtrack for William Shakespeare Presents Terminator the Second, which I think you can get on their Bandcamp. So they're basically playing like the Terminator soundtrack that was used for a live Shakespeare retelling. But the Cover Up album has it's not just cover songs, it also has lore sprinkled throughout it, like lore that pertains to Act 1 and Act 2, right? So if you go back and listen to those and you sort of sprinkle that in, and then on top of that, they have been working on Act 3. So
They
like
have
if you
released
go
a
to
couple
their
songs from it. I've seen,
yeah, so they've released This City Made Us and The Fight, which are incredible songs. Their live is just great. Hold Back the Night is also a part of that. So that technically they've released 3 songs from Act 3, which are equally, if not better, and more than amazing. And they can take all the time they want on Act 3, in my opinion.
Oh, I'm sure.
I know it's gonna be like creme de la creme of
Really
goodness,
amazing.
and it's
Oh.
gonna sit under a lot of radars. And it's like whatever. I just know it's gonna be because like 3 songs they've released so far are ones I listen
I'm
to
honestly
on repeat
glad
often.
you showed me this album because honestly, of the albums I've listened to so far, this was the one that connected with me the most. And
But like I said, yeah, no, it's so
I'm definitely
good.
gonna listen to Act 1, but
Yeah, Act 1's good. It's a little more lo-fi compared to Act 2. It's definitely, you can tell it's their first album. So it's definitely a little more garage sounding, a little more lo-fi, but it's still like really good bangers like Vengeance and just so many good hits. What are the other ones my favorite?
anyways, I think it's time we go to rating.
Oh, there's no track list on this. It's time to what now? What? Rating? Oh, rating of this
Yes.
album?
Yeah. So
I mean, my rating
have
is
a couple-
inconsequential. It's biased.
that's the point. I mean, that's the point. So let's talk musically. I think that musically, this album is like a 10 out of 10. Honestly, I could listen to this album so many times. Would you
Out of
agree
the
with
3
me?
that you've heard, it's definitely up there with Hamilton.
Yeah. For sure.
No, it's really the fact that they're basically a 7-piece band.
It helps
And they
so
can sound
much.
like an amazing rock op. They're so well balanced. They're so multi-talented.
They almost sound like an orchestra, you know?
Yeah, they're very much an orchestra. Like their live act is one of the best I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of live shows. Just pure rock gods, truly, and like wonderfully.
I will say. So you good with a 10 musically?
Oh, absolutely good with a 10.
Okay, cool. Lyrically, I'd also give it a 10. I think that it tells a story, and it tells it succinctly and without any filler. Would you agree?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no, like I said,
And-
it's
and
all
the-
killer, no filler.
And the characters are fantastic. Like the character acting, the emotion, it's just so good. It's the same reason why I'd give pacing a 10 out of 10, you know? I think, like you said, no all killer, no filler. It's just go. It's banger, 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 banger. One after another, after another, after another, all the way to the end.
Well, like Dave said, his favorite track was "Light Up the Night," and it's easily like my favorite track as well. Simply, but it's that track that also sort of, how can I put it? It'll hook you in, and the more you go back and listen to the album, you start finding more about the album that you like, and you end up liking it as a whole. Like I've listened to this multiple times, honestly.
I mean, even after this album review, I was listening to this album again. Like even after I had to listen to it, I was just putting it on again and again. You know.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that because it's just such an excellent piece of music that like seemingly not a lot of people have heard before. And
I think that's a shame.
Yeah, and I'm always happy to like show it to people and stuff like that. But like the best, I think the best thing that's come out of this band is like when I discovered them, I sort of told them about a band that I know called Tupperware Remix Party, TWRP, which is an album would like Bright Blue Sky. Any of their albums I would have probably picked for this, but I felt like the Protomen is ideal. When I saw them, I like, this is actually one of the photos I got of them. Like this is Raoul Panther. This is one of my all-time favorite photos I've ever taken.
That's cool.
Like the guy is just such a rock god presence.
Clearly.
But like Gambler Kirk Douglas, she can like, she holds so much range. She's so good, dude. Like there's so many good parts. The drumming, the breakdowns in this, the bass solos, the guitar intros, the guitar solo. Like there's so many layers to this album. The more you listen to it, you find it's actually really rich.
In terms of visuals, I really think this album is really cool. I'm gonna give it a 9. I really like the cover, and I really like that cool pop-up dystopia thing you showed me. But
Yeah, the
it's
vinyl.
it's really cool, but I can't just give this all tens. You know,
I mean, why not?
I did.
What's holding you back from giving this perfect album all tens? Like, you gotta look at this. It's not just, this incredible artwork, right? Or the incredible font work, or it's like it's littered with photos. It's literally a storybook. It's not just a pop-up. There's lore between the lyrics.
All right, you've convinced me.
Like, you don't get this with fucking music albums as much these days. You don't get full masterpieces like this that are from top to bottom and perfectly packaged. And then if you want to expand on the lore more, you can watch their very excellent music videos.
I watched a video for Light Up the Night. It was really cool.
It's so good, right? Their live shows are incredible. The song that they did with TWRP, because they eventually actually collaborated with these guys, which was something I was hoping for when I first discovered them. I'm like, oh man, they not only collaborated with them, they toured with them. But there's a song called Phantom Racer.
I assume you'd also want it to be a 10 out of 10 for visuals.
Oh yes, God, yes. I just convinced you. Yes, this album is the perfect album. It's one of my all-time favorite albums ever.
And then for production, I think we can both agree they're 10s, right?
Yeah, no, absolute 10.
Yeah. 1,000%. Like,
I came in to set a bar here, Eamon. I came in to set a bar on your podcast.
I think you have. But the thing about this production is that it's very big, and it almost feels like you're live. Like, maybe not live, but it feels like you're almost there.
You're in a movie. There isn't a moment when you listen to this album, you're not totally sucked into the experience, and you just sort of start imagining this fantasy, this neo-noir alternate universe Mega Man versus Protoman storyline that just seeps into your brain. And the more you listen to it, it's like a fine like onion bloom,
it's
just
perfect.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's a really good album, honestly, and I think it was a good starter. Yeah,
definitely check out Act 1. Check out their Protomen, A Night of Queen. That is an all live album. If you've ever listened to Queen and you enjoy Queen, this is an experience that has to be felt, because you feel like not only are you listening to like the most epic versions of Queen songs, but you're getting like these Protomen vibes to them. That's just it's mint.
It's very Queen, but it's also just got its own sense to it. It's not just that. They're not just imitations. They've had the influence and they've taken it farther.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's a homage and tribute to the greatest band on earth in their opinion, which is Queen.
Queen,
right?
And I get that for sure, but also a tribute to a game series they clearly love, Mega Man. And they've taken their niche, their if you will, and their gimmick, if you will, and they've made it their own. They've given Mega Man that dark dystopia that you didn't know it needed to such a degree. When you first hear that it would be a dark dystopia, you might think that it'd just be like dark and edgy, but it's not really.
No, it's just deep. It's deeply rock.
Yeah. But the fact that they were able to make something like that, it's a huge undertaking.
Well, it is a huge undertaking, and I don't know. They put such love into their production value of their music, so it's understandable why it takes them a while to release, stuff like that. Like, if you even just their cover up album, they did songs like Because the Night, Princes of the Universe, Mr. Roboto, No Easy Way Out, Last Stop, In the Air Tonight. Their In the Air Tonight cover is sick. I Drove All Night, Total Eclipse of the Heart. Gambler Kirk Douglas singing Total Eclipse of the Heart is to be experienced.
I'm sure.
They did Hunted, The Trooper, I Still Believe, and Danger Zone. Their Danger Zone is one of the best.
Anyways, this has basically just been a big PSA. Go listen to this album. Go listen to this band. I've been Eamon. This has been with me.
Chris Worldmine Murphy. Follow me on all the socials, Worldmine. Check me out at a little movie podcast called Hold Up, a movie podcast.
Yep, we have Hold Up, a movie podcast with you and Davan. What are you guys doing this week?
So not this week, actually. We have to postpone. I've got a busy filming week, so I actually won't have time to do the podcast this week. So we're doing it the next week. We're doing it with Jaemeel Robinson. It's going to be heist films. We're starting with The Pink Panther from 1973. Then we're moving to George Clooney, Jennifer Lopez's Out of Sight from the mid-90s. And then we're going to end with a 2015 film called Victoria, which is a German film. And I'm super interested in this film because it is a film that's been done in one take. Literally, like, you hear about one-take shots, right?
But this is literally a one-take shot.
One-take movie from the beginning to the end. The entire hour and a half long of the film is one take, and they accomplished it on their third try.
That's pretty impressive.
It sounds like the most impressive thing I've ever heard as a filmmaker, and I need to witness this film, so I'm really looking forward to watching that one for the podcast.
We have KBBL.
Not so much. Not so much. I think that one's I think the other one's off air from what I heard, so we'll just skip over that one. Yeah.
Cool. We got Super Mader Brothers. I believe they're still doing BB Summer, like Big Brother America.
Yeah, Big Brother and probably Survivor Series and other reality shows if they do other reality shows, which if they did other reality shows, I'm sure Jameel's head would just absolutely melt.
I know. But we got Trivial Debates. I believe last one they did was basically
one about wrestling.
Yeah, the pro wrestling episode.
Yeah, I hosted that one. It was WrestleMania flavored Trivial Debates with all the best wrestling questions. We had Jaemeel Robinson once again, Jason Phillips, and Andre Mayette come into the ring of Trivial Debates. It was a good time.
Yeah, we got Live Long and Podcast. I don't know what they're doing this week though, but we have. Do you know?
I think my headset just.
Anyway, and then we have X-Rated. That's the X-Men animated review show. So that one is really cool. And we got Hellbound starring Michael Chan. I'm hoping to have him on the podcast in the next couple of weeks. Do like Ice Nine Kills or something horror related. But yep. And
I'm gonna get you all the 1080p screeners, my sir. I didn't know you were without banners.
This is just the banners that were provided to me.
All right, well, I'll get you sorted.
All right. Anyways, this has been Eamon, and with my co-host Chris Murphy. We'll see you next time.